Thank you very much, Jitu. At this point in time, I would like to call on Cornie Huizenga and Elisea Gozun. Cornie is the Vice Chair of CAI-Asia Center's Board of Trustees, and Elisea is the Chair of the CAI-Asia Partnership Council, to present this year's Kong Ha Award, which, as you know, is an award to honor the memory of the late Kong Ha, who served as the chairperson of CAI-Asia from December 2004 to April 2007.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, December 9 is a special day in the history of CAI-Asia. Why is December 9 a special day? It's Jitu Shah Day. Why did we bring Jitu closer to Manila? It's in order to strengthen the financial sustainability of the organization. Cash flow is always an important issue in a small organization like CAI-Asia. And it's very good to have somebody nearby who has an unlimited credit card. Like going back to BAQ in Agra, it was 9 o'clock in the evening. The police was in the lobby of the hotel. Like I was about to be locked up for non-payment of bills for BAQ 2004. And there was our savior. So Jitu wrote out a credit card, $34,000. To put $34,000 through a credit card in India takes about 45 minutes because they cannot take large amounts. The reason that I'm saying this is organizations are like family. We have generous uncles like Jitu, and like we are more or less, what we have been trying to do with CAI-Asia is build a family, build a community. And I think that if you go to the CAI-Asia booth, which is at the back of the hall with all the posters, you will see the family album of CAI-Asia. And you will see like how people have been working together and how people have been celebrating together. And I think that it's in this sense of family, this sense of tradition, that we also established the Kong Ha Award. Like as an organization, you need rituals. As an organization, you need traditions. And like we say that when this unfortunate incident happened with Kong Ha, we said, this is a very good opportunity to make use of the energy that Kong Ha put into the organization to rally around and to build a community. So what we did is we came up with the award, and we say, who should get this award? And we say, like, we want to have criteria which are in line with what Kong Ha stood for. So we said, first, the person needs to have a proven track record in getting things done. And I think that those of you who have been involved in the CAI-Asia from the beginning, if you look at the presentations in the first 5 years, the number of presentations on Hong Kong is staggering. Like we had lots of presentations about how Hong Kong was doing the fuel, how Hong Kong was doing the vehicles, the retrofits and things like that. The second thing is build strong multi-stakeholder partnerships. That's another thing I think that Kong was very good at. Technical excellence. Like not everybody knew it, but Kong actually had some patents about things that he invented. Enthusiasm. I think we were all very clear on that. Creativity and innovation. So like, and very much like we said, we want to set up this award in line with the person that Kong was. And let's see. So Kong was a pioneer. Like we're sitting here about BAQ. Where did BAQ started? BAQ started in Hong Kong. And who was one of the key architects of the initial BAQ? This was Kong, like over here. Those days, Kong was still a little bit more rotund. But also, if we look at the next, Kong was the expert. Kong went to many, many workshops where he made presentations, and he said, this is how we did it. And that in his own modest way that he said, like, if you look at this, if you look at that, then things can happen. Kong, I would say, networker. There must be still hundreds of people in Asia, in Europe, in the US who have cards from Kong, and like at the workshop during the breaks, like if you were looking for Kong, you look for a group of people, and you would often find Kong at the center of this. Kong was also our man for China. I think that we just did at the end of the opening session, we did a group picture with people from China, and I think, I'm not 100% certain, but I think that actually that China is the largest delegation here at BAQ. So getting into China is something that a lot of people talk about, but not many organizations are successful as an NGO. And I think like what Peng Yen said yesterday, that the ministry is now accepting CAI-Asia in China as a full partner. How did we do that? This is due, of course, to the people working in the China office, to the people working in Manila. But Kong was very instrumental in, let's say, in setting this up. And that if we look at this first project inception workshop, this was a major step in moving forward. But I think that most, and for all, I think that Kong was a friend of all of us. Thank you.
Allow me to start by introducing to you the members of the Kong Ha Award Committee for 2010. We have with us Professor Wing Tat Hong, Associate Professor of the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. Wing, if you could please stand up, there he is. We have the Chairman of the International Center for Clean Transport, Mr. Michael Walls. Mike, please. Also the Associate Director for the Center for Science and Environment in India, Ms. Anita Roy Chowdhury. Anita, over there. We also have the Executive Director of the CAI Center, Sophie Pangde. And unfortunately, he could not join us. We have also with us the Principal Environmental Protection Officer of the Environmental Protection Department of Hong Kong, Mr. Wok, and myself. This year's recipient of the award is known as a staunch supporter for clean air in his country, and he comes from the NGOs. The committee decided to give the award to civil society because I think we all recognize, and as Jito has also pointed out, that civil society plays a very critical role in the efforts to try to clean the air, and yet very often they are the least recognized. So this awardee actually is known as the prime mover, the one who spearheaded the phase out of lead in gasoline in his country. And he started that in 1996, probably like a voice in the wilderness at the time, especially in his country. And we know that for a fact because even in the Philippines in 1993, when we also started this, to the concerned citizens against pollution, not only was clean air not in the national agenda, it wasn't even in the agenda of environmental NGOs, who were really more focused on green issues and the others. So the same thing for him in his country, and he started by creating this advocacy group, this NGO, and I have to read this. It's the KPBB, the Comité Penghapusan Bensing Bertimbel, supported by 3 other NGOs, the Indonesian Forum for the Environment, Jakarta Region, the Indonesian Center for Environmental Law, as well as Lamkasi, which is a program of Sagar Jakarta Ku. So recognizing that they needed broad support from the public as well as media involvement, he launched a major public awareness campaign through mass communication, to trainings on the sources of air pollution, specifically lead and its impact on health and the environment, especially on children. And he actually led a long march a long march demonstration for the phase out of lead in their country. However, he was also, on the one hand, able to mobilize broad public support to work with government and the private sector. So they also held dialogues with key government officials, with business leaders, with parliament, and even was able to provide support to government to draft the necessary policies that were needed to eventually phase out lead. And like Cornie, his approach is really collaborative and very creative. He has been persistent in fighting this uphill battle against many vested interests and to overturn the frequent delays in the shift in policy. So instead of being frustrated, because I think by the early 2000s, most of the region had already phased out lead, and his country was still behind and they still had lead. He did not give in to that frustration, but continued in his persistence to mobilize as many stakeholders as possible, to continue to engage with government, even as he pressured them. And eventually, all this persistent effort bore fruit when in 2006, Indonesia finally phased out leaded gasoline. And he did not stop there. He actually continues to monitor the implementation of this policy. He has even reported several cases of anomalies and figures very highly in court cases now that actually challenges this more stringent fuel quality standards. So because he has been able to establish partnerships, gain public support, and continue to advocate for better air quality and improve public health in Indonesia, the Cornie Award Committee is pleased to award this year's awardee, our good friend Ahmad Safrudin from Indonesia, better known to all of us as Puput.